Hello, we're back. Dee and I are doing a marathon of videos today. She has just so much, tons of ideas to share with you. And now she's going to be doing, what are we going to be doing, Dee?
I'm going to show you how to remount paper. And remounting, what that's going to let you do is take a piece of paper that's really thin and turn it into a nice sizable bead. Where if you were just to roll this by itself, you'd end up with a very small diameter of your bead, and it wouldn't have a good strong core to it. You would be able to, squish it with your fingers. These are hard, just like a wood bead. And so I'm going to teach you about the remounting the paper. And this is also another paper that was remounted. And what I'm using is colored cardstock like you would find at the craft store. They come in so many colors, so the possibilities are endless. And when you look at the paper, you can say, okay, depending on how you're looking at the paper, you might say yellow's the dominant color. So the first set, I happen to have two pictures. This is just from a calendar. I had two identical calendars, so I wanted to show you what would happen when you change the paper that you mounted on. So the first set I made, this is mounted on the golden yellow. And I'm going to teach you how to do the remounting of the paper, but this time we're going to take the same picture and we're going to switch it over to a purple. And we're going to put it on purple instead of yellow.
And then you'll get a different result.
You're going to get a different result because it's going to be more purple than it is yellow when the bead's finished. It'll start making the purple color stand out more. So what I want to do is I don't want that to be the final strip of bead, so I'm going to make sure that this is going to be the bottom section. I hope that makes sense to you all. But if you put this so you're cutting triangles going this way, you're going to have some beads that are just going to be completely yellow because there's no other colors.
Right.
So you want this to be at the base of the bead or the very tip. Either way you want to look at it, but you don't want it to be the whole length of the triangle. So that's something you should look at when you're going to mount these. So I know that I want this to be the base, so I'm going to turn it over. I've got the base towards me. This is a base, this is a base, this is a base end. And I'm going to pick the whole thing up and turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to be just using a regular glue stick, nothing fancy, nothing complicated. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to make a line straight down, one time, one pass, nothing fancy. Move this up, line it up. You can have that little uneven raw edge at the top and trim it off when you're all done and push it down. Take the whole thing and flip it around this way. Pull the base paper up, and this is what we're calling remounting. You're going to make one more strip down the middle. So what you're really doing is you're just tacking the paper enough to hold it so when you cut it, the two triangles are going to come out matching. Because when you roll it, you're going to have to separate them. Because if you didn't separate them before you started rolling them, you'd end up with a big ugly ridge in your bead, which would cause your bead to become very lopsided. It might start out as a little tiny bump, and each time you go around the little tiny bump, pretty soon you have a mountain, and it's ugly. Okay, so that's all there is to remounting the paper. What I wanted to show you, this end's not quite hooked down enough. What I wanted to show you is how you can just measure two sizes of triangles, and you're going to be getting different shapes of beads from just measuring one time. So we're going to start, I'm just going to cut two off of each side, two of the 3/4 inch and two of the 1/2 inch to show you. A lot of people say that you have to throw that first triangle away because it's not perfect. I don't do that. I've never had trouble rolling the first triangle, so I don't know that it has to be all that perfect. Uh-oh. Oops, we're getting some breeze. There. I don't think the triangles have to be perfect. I think one of them that we're good. Okay, so we have the first one, and we're going to make another one. And this is the same exact measurements I used for the strand that's laying on the table. So there's two of them that are 3/4 inch, and now I need two that are going to be 1/2 inch. That one. And I would suggest if you have a really good pair of sharp short scissors like these kind of scissors. They are really very, very helpful. Okay, so now we have two strips that are pretty much identical. You can see the pattern on the other side. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to roll one of each. We're going to roll one of each just as it is, and the other one I'm going to change into a different shape bead. So I'm going to show you how to do both of them. So we'll start with this one. If there's some paper extending at the top, you want to cut that off so that it's flat, like that. Then you just take your finger and you slide it up inside of here and very carefully release this paper from the center to the tip. And then you want to cut off about an inch or a little more of the tip. And I'm not sure what's the best angle for you to see me rolling this. And then you're going to, I keep it together. I just open it enough, like that much, and slide it in and lock it. Everybody probably does it different, but that's how I do it. So this one is this very thick paper, so you need to like put your finger on the back side to kind of have it extend just a little bit out, just to hold it till you get the first couple of rolls going. And I hope I don't break your bamboo roller because I roll with a lot of tension. But I think we'll be okay. So you're going to just roll it, keep rolling it. And you can see this is very, very thin paper, but the bead's starting to get a nice diameter going to it already. And I roll forward. Some people flip and roll away from them, but I roll forward because I can keep it centered better. And I don't flip it over until I get ready to glue the ends down.
I think this is the right way to do this. My sister told me that it should be rolled this way.
I don't know. I tried doing it the other way and I failed miserably. So I decided it's all about the end. It's all about the end, not how you got there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like when you're usually doing it, you have two loose papers now. So I put some on the, in this case, on the purple part, and I'm going to keep rolling it down. The reason why you had to remove part of the tip is if you didn't, the purple would extend past the printed. And unless that's a look you're going for, I would cut it off, okay? Because one's always, the bottom paper is always going to end up being longer than the top. Okay, so there you have this. Now, if you these already have base coat and 2 coats of glaze on them, but if you compare these two already, you can see that this is darker. It's going to be darker. It's going to pull more of the purple. And as you keep going through the pattern and you get the pieces that have the purple flowers in it, like you see here, you're going to get even more purple. Okay? And I think that the toothpicks I brought are too small for this size bead hole. The other thing I want to show you is a hard surface. If you want to get your beads so that they're more even and you look at them, now's a really good time to look at them, squish them, move the lines, and make sure that that bead is as balanced as you can get it to be. Don't be afraid to stick it on the table and push, and sometimes you push a little too much, you got to go the other way. But it makes the ends of the beads look really nice and smooth and symmetrical.
That's a very good tip, yes.
And I've seen them where there's like paper sticking out and all uneven, and unless you're going for a really rough, coarse textured look, I like the smooth. I like them to look
clean.
like, so that's going to be one of them. Now, what I'm going to show you is we're going to take the other 3/4 inch strip, and we're going to get 2 beads out of this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this, and you're going to take the tip, and you're going to go down, and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, and then you're going to take some really nice sharp scissors and try and cut straight. Then you go back again. If you need to release, this one's past that point, or it already came unglued, so you don't have to, but you still have to go back and cut some of that end off, okay? So there's one strip, and now you have this strip, which is like a little triangle again. There you go. I released the paper from the base. Really important. I can't tell you enough. You start rolling it and you don't release it, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. You're going to end up with a little mountain in there, and it's going to be very ugly. Okay, so now I've taken and measured only 2 cuts, but now I've cut this paper into 2 different size strips, okay? And what this is going to do is, you see how all these different sizes are in here, but I only measured twice. So, this one has a little bit of the purple extending at the top. I'll cut it off and put it in. And again, with the thicker paper, you sort of have to press down with your finger on that back end as you make the first couple turns. And this is, I call this a barrel bead. I'm not sure what you call this, if it has a technical paper bead name, but I call them barrel beads, which
Yes,
is
they
the
are
shape.
barrel beads.
Okay. I think somewhere I saw that and it stuck in my head. But, you know, depending on who's talking about them, some people are going to call them something different.
You can call them tubes too.
Yeah, to me the two beads are the ones that just drop off flush at the end. I tend to
Yeah.
call those two beads, and these have the graduated ends, so I call them barrel beads. Okay, so again, you need to hold that little end for a second. Let that glue really hook in there so you don't take it off and set it down and it all comes flying apart. And same thing with this one. You just, a little press here, make sure the ends are staying down. Maybe sometimes you didn't get quite enough glue. I think that one could use a little bit more. Having the thin paper is easier to glue the thin paper down than the thick one. So there's that one. And then just try and keep that in the center the best you can. You can adjust it a little bit when it comes off, but okay, so you, again, I tell you you're only measuring 2 sizes of triangles, but you're actually going to end up with 6 different shapes of beads, which is really nice. People say all the time, how do you make all those different shapes of beads? And it's like, there's this one, that one, and this one's should have had a little bit more trimmed. Came out kind of lopsided. But that's okay, because that's where you can just push and push and push until you get it to be a little bit more circular. My center is off on this for some reason, I think a little bit, but you get the idea. So then you have your other two where you cut the same half-inch strip in half, and it's going to just roll these up. And I forgot to cut the tip off again. Okay.
You can still do that.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I can do it while I hold it. I've done all these things, so it's not like, you know, no matter how many thousands of these you roll, no matter how many tricks you know, you still forget to do something as simple as cutting the tip off before you start.
To see more of these paper beads and beautiful jewelry, Dee,
Yes.
can you give us your website address? The Etsy.
It's Etsy. If you go to Etsy.com and you go to the drop-down menu at the top and just go to the stores and push in Passion for Paper, I will come up. Or you can go to People and you can put in Deanne7 and I will come up. Or you can put in D. Rick and I will come up. All 3 ways. That's easier than remembering a whole strand of letters, right?
Or look for the link at the end of the video. So